You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our first class for today. And this is our series of Aqidah, which is the most important class that we teach here, because this focuses on what the correct belief system of the Muslim should be, what our belief system should be. I mean, all of our good deeds, we can give all the good deeds, pray every day, fast every day, give in charity every day. But if our belief system is not correct, none of that means anything. So I really hope that you guys are paying attention and reviewing what I'm teaching you, because this book that I'm using, Diluting Wala Wel Bara, this is this whole series that I'm teaching. And this is, by the way, these books have been written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, and they are now officially part of the curriculum here at Sunnahfollowers. And I'll be teaching them over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you'll never get tired of it, because they break down what the correct belief system of the Muslim should be in plain, simple English. But as many of you have found, or everyone should be buying these books. Again, the books can be purchased on Amazon for $19.99. This is the red one. This is the last of the series, volume 3 of the last of the series. It's $19.99. For those of you who have not purchased the first, which is Get to Know Your Lord, buy that too, because when we're almost done with this book. It's taken over a year for me to teach this. We're almost done with this book, and when we complete it, we're going back to volume 1, because many of you were not here with me to learn from me the whole series. And again, it's based on breaking down the meaning of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Okay, so the first book covers, again, what it means to believe in Allah, what it means to believe in everything he says to believe in. It also gets into the different sects, the different groups that violate that. It gives you some of the history of how Islam became corrupted, how our belief system became corrupted after the death of the companions, all of that. So, if you have not bought book 1, which is Get to Know Your Lord, you need to go on Amazon and get it too. It's $19.99 as well. Get the whole series. And I will be making some new flyers to post up too. And I'll be changing my picture, my banner thing on Facebook to incorporate all 3 of the books. I'll need to work on that tonight. So please get it. And something that you all may have already found out, those of you who've purchased the book. A lot of the unbelievers, the non-Muslims, they question, why is it that we say that our religion has been preserved? The Quran is protected. Allah protected the Quran. What does that mean? That means Allah protected it, whereas man, it can't be distorted. No one can go in there and distort that book, change it and rewrite it or any of that stuff. It's protected by Allah. Okay? The Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is preserved and protected by Allah too. Oh yeah, people deviate away from it. Most Muslims today on planet Earth are not practicing the Sunnah. I don't care how much they call themselves Salafi, Balafi, Khalafi, Dalafi. Most of them are so far away from the example of the Prophet Muhammad, it ain't funny. If the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were here today and to see what's become of this nation, he would cry. He would break down and cry. If the original companions were here, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, he'd say, kill them all. They're all kafir. Okay? So, you know, it's really messed up how we have become here as a nation. Very few of us, if any, very few, there are some, but very few are living up to the traditional Islam, are practicing and living the traditional Islam. And what is the traditional Islam? It's what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, the original. So the Sunnah has been preserved by Allah. The Quran has been preserved by Allah. What's my point here? Something that many of you brothers and sisters have found out. You've ordered the books and thought that you could teach yourself this religion. How many of you have done that? You bought the books, you opened them up, started reading, thinking, oh, I don't need Sister Layla. She ain't nobody. How many of you jealous women have done it? Now, women suffer with jealousy. Forget about the brothers. That's why I got more male followers than, you know, the brothers I got. By the way, my percentage went up. I looked on YouTube. I'm trying to see if more women are listening to me. 71% are male. The males went up. The women still going down. The women are dropping. I tell y'all, I got 25 students. I keep telling y'all, I only got 25 students. And it's the truth because it dropped from 30% down to 20. Okay, so or something like that. Women, you know, we women don't want to learn from another woman. We know we got a problem with jealousy. And that's why we're going to be busting that hellfire open. You know, subhanallah. But the brothers are listening and learning. But even though my dawah is geared toward the women, I'm bringing in more and more men. But anyway, how many of you sisters in particular went out and bought the book, opened it up, said, I don't need nothing from Sister Layla. I don't like her. I don't like her. Why come you don't like her? I just don't like her. Do you know her? No. I just don't like her. So I'm going to teach myself. And you open up the book, read the first sentence, and can't get no further than that. That's how Allah has preserved this religion and protected it. Unlike Christianity, unlike Judaism, okay? You can't teach yourself. You can't sit around. You can make up your own rules. You can make up your own guidelines, but you're going to look like a fool. The world's going to be able to look at you and see that person's a fool. But the original Islam, it cannot be distorted. The truth cannot be watered down and broken. Okay? How many of you discovered that I don't understand nothing here? Oh my God, what is he saying? What does this mean? You have to learn from the people of knowledge. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, he made that statement. This hadith is authentic. It's Sahih Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, learn from the people of knowledge. You will never be able to teach yourself this deen. You have to sit in the company. That's important. Sit in the company. That's important. Sit in the company of the people of knowledge and learn from them. What does that mean? Sit in the company. That means come here like you guys are doing. Be in the presence of the person of knowledge so you can talk to them. They can hear you. They can talk back, speak back to you. They can ask you questions. They can quiz you and you respond. Even though we're not here physically, Allah has given us technology. This is all a gift from Allah. You know, they didn't have this technology back then. You know, if a person wanted to learn the deen, when Islam spread throughout the Roman Empire, when Islam spread throughout the Persian Empire, the companions that were sent to be governors of those places, they would send the people back to Medina. They would send the people, the new converts, to Medina if they were to learn directly from the companions, or the companions would travel to them, many of them, like Amir ibn al-As. Amir ibn al-As, you know, was the governor of Egypt. Okay, Uthman, may Allah be pleased him, appointed him as a governor of Egypt. And Uthman and Amir bin al-As, that's why you see a lot of hadiths with him speaking. Okay, the companions would go to the new provinces and they would teach. They would teach the religion. Male and females did that. Aisha, radiallahu anha, was one of the first scholars. The women would travel from Rome. The women would travel from Persia. And they would come and sit with her, and she would teach them the basics of this religion. Also men would travel. Men would travel from the once Roman empires and Persian empires, and they would sit outside Aisha's window and ask her questions and learn from her, as many of those hadiths show. Okay, so you can't teach yourself this deen. Alhamdulillah, you don't have to travel. All you have to do is have a computer, a cell phone, an iPad, turn it on, and you know what time Layla Nashiba's classes are. My window, my curtain is my computer. Your window, your curtain is your computer screen or your phone screen. And you can sit here. Thanks to technology, I can show you PowerPoints. I can illustrate my points. I can show you the evidences, the sources of those evidences with my PowerPoint. You can look at my face and see who I am, know who I am, that I am authentic, that I am not some made up character that you don't know. You can look at my facial expressions and see if I'm joking, so you don't get your feelings hurt, or if I'm for real, if something is shocking, okay? So you don't have to travel to learn, but instead you have to be selective on who you listen to. That's the problem with Muslims today. We're not selective. We're learning the religion from the wrong people. A lot of us don't want to know the truth. We women don't want to know the truth because we still have a lot of problems. We don't want to hear another woman tell us the truth. We'd rather hear it from a man who's good looking. I don't know why, but that's just the nature of the woman. He got to be fine. If he fine, we'll listen to take it from him. Okay? He's got to be soft-spoken too. Oh yeah, we'd rather hear the truth from a man who's good to look at, easy on the eye and easy on the ear. If he's got a nice little sweet, soft, accenty voice, we women will listen to him because we're really mesmerized by him anyway. We really ain't listening. We just, we're awestruck. Okay? So I hope you guys, many of you have already learned that, because I've heard from you guys. We bought the book, and wow, I'm so glad you're teaching it, Sister Layla, because I don't understand it. Well, that's normal. You can't teach yourself this deen. The Prophet didn't teach himself. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the best teacher. Who was his teacher? The angel Jibril. And that's another misconception. You will hear some of these brothers tell you that you should have 1,000 teachers. That's not true. We're human beings. We can't take on a lot of information from different people, and every teacher teaches differently. Allah didn't send Michael to be the prophet's teacher. He didn't have Jibril, Michael, and Israfil. No, he had one teacher. That was Jibril alayhi salam. Because, everyone teaches differently. Some of us can explain better. Some of us can break it down more. One thing about a woman, we like to talk. So I'll go into more detail. That's what a lot of the brothers like. Some of the brothers, because I asked, because, I'm new at this streaming. I've been giving dawah for over 50 years, literally for over 50 years. But I've done it on the internet since 1986. But I never used video. Y'all know that. I've always used my voice and PowerPoint. But alhamdulillah, with this streaming stuff, you get to it's a new avenue for me. That's why I have a little problems here. But alhamdulillah, you guys can come in here and listen to me and stream. But I asked some of the brothers, though, I said, why is it that a lot of you are following me? My dawah is geared towards women, but the men are welcome. Any Muslim, because most Muslims just don't understand the religion. The women are a reflection of the men. I asked the brothers, I said, why is it that I have more male followers than women? What's up with these sisters? Why won't these sisters listen to me and learn? They don't even know the basics about a menses or anything. Well, they said, well, Sister Layla, you hit it on the nose, They jealous, jealousy. That's just the nature of you women. And you an old lady with grandkids. You got it going on compared to them young girls in their 20s and 30s and 30s. So they jealous. I said, okay, well, what about you brothers? Why come y'all don't go listen to these men? They said, Layla, I'm going to be honest. This is what several of the brothers here told me. They said, we're going to be honest. The brothers do not break it down like you. I said, what do you mean? They said either they got bad accents and we don't understand them. The Arabic brothers, their English is so bad that we don't get it. They use more Arabic than English. Or, they got good English, but they don't go into detail. I said, what do you mean? They said, Sister Layla, you break it down. You will not only give the answer, but you explain the answer. You explain what it means. Then you'll give examples from the companions. And then you'll go into the history. They say you go on and on. But when you get done, we walk away knowing understanding it. I said, well, that's because I'm a woman. And that's how Aisha, radiallahu anha, was. Why is it that Aisha was the best scholar? Better even than Ibn Abbas and them. Because she was a woman, and we women, we're more detailed than men are. Because we just talk. That's the way Allah made us. Women talk a lot. Some brothers talk a lot too. But it's the nature of the woman to be more detailed and be more, go more in detail. Where the brothers keep it short. Let me give an example. Dr. Jamali. Dr. Jamali will come in here. You guys ask him a question. He'll give you the answer. He'll base it on Quran. He'll base it on Hadith. And that's it. Okay, next question. His thing is I answer. I don't have to go into the details, whereas Layla goes on and on. But, I think it's a female thing. Because that's how Aisha radiallahu anha was too. The people would go. They would come from Rome, from the new countries when Syria became a Muslim state. Muawiyah would send the people, delegations to Medina to learn from Aisha, to learn from Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas was the governor over Medina at that time. Ibn Umar also had a school. Ibn Masud had a school. He had a Quran school. So Muawiyah would send the people there to learn, and they would they would listen to Ibn Abbas. They listened to Ibn Umar, listen to Ibn Masud, and then they would go right to Aisha, the men would, and sit outside her window. And they said the same thing. They said she's more detailed. She's more detailed. Let me give you guys an example. And this is something, for the brothers, to think about. As one of the brothers brought to my attention, they said, Sister Layla, this hadith is Sahih Bukhari, and the hadith is authentic. It's the hadith narrated by Anas. May Allah be pleased with him. He said the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, used to visit all his wives. In one night, he'd make rounds with all his wives in one night. And then some of the people, the men asked, oh my God, he had all those wives. How could a man, how did he have the strength, to be intimate? They were thinking intimacy, to be intimate with all those wives in one night. Okay, this hadith is authentic, and it was Anas when Muawiyah had sent some people to learn. And Anas was telling them about, because he was a young boy, he was the nephew of Maymuna. Maymuna was one of the wives of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he was her nephew. He was a little boy, and he would spend a lot of time there. And he said, they asked him, well, how did the Prophet deal with his wives? He said, when I was a little boy, I remember the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, would visit every single one of his wives. He'd leave the mosque and he'd go and spend a little time in each one of their houses. So he'd make rounds with all his wives in one night. That's what the little boy saw. That's what Anas said he saw as a child. So they're assuming, when he told the people that, the men walked away assuming that meant that the Prophet, a man can have more than one wife. The Prophet has sex with all his wives in one night. How many of you believed that based on that authentic hadith? Well, when the word got to Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, heard that. One of the wives that was married to one of the men that Anas had taught that to said, is that true? The Prophet had relations with all of you in one night? Aisha said, no. She said, who told you that? They said, Anas told my husband. Aisha said, may Allah bless Anas. He was a little boy. She said he was an 8-year-old little boy. What did he know? She said the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, every night after making Isha, he would go and check and visit every one of his wives. He would start with the oldest one, which was Sauda, and then he'd make his rounds to visit all of them except whoever's night it was. If it was my night, he would save me for last. She said, but he was not visiting us and having sexual relations with us. She said the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, never, ever, ever had sexual relations with a wife if it was not her night. I repeat, Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said the Prophet never, ever, ever had sex with a wife if it was not her night. Y'all understand that? She said what he did was he would check on us. He would go start with the eldest and see if she needed anything. He'd knock on the door, go in the house. Hi, how are you? How's the kids? Is there anything that you need? How did you spend your day? She said he would spend time, but not a whole lot of time. He spent enough time with that wife and he leave and go to the next woman's house, the next woman's house, the next woman's house, and he would stop with whoever's home it was and who of that night. She said, so Anas is speaking the truth. The Prophet did make rounds every night, but those rounds did not include sexual relations. She said, and of course, Anas would not know because he was a kid. She said the Prophet never had sex with a wife if it was not her night. How many of you brothers knew that? How many of you brothers are practicing some polygamy and y'all having sex with all your wives in the same night? That's not what the prophet did. That may be what Solomon did, but that ain't what the prophet did. The prophet told that was part of his contract, his agreement. Remember, we talked yesterday about how the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best amongst you are those who are good to your wives, and ain't none of you better than I am with my wives. The prophet had an agreement with his wives, and he would never have sex unless it was their night, out of respect for them. How many of you brothers think to be respectful like that? Some of you brothers are twisted. Some of you brothers, you marry and you think this is a sex thing. It's all about sex. Okay? You will come to me, have sex with me, and then leave me hanging and go to someone else. No, that's not what it is. The prophet didn't do that. That's not clean. That's disrespectful. Like he said, he's the best when it comes to being a husband. So that's an example. And when Aisha broke that down, the women became calm. And Ibn Abbas came to her and he said, "Oh, mother of the believers, no one can explain and make this religion more beautiful than you can." That's just the nature of the woman. We're more detailed than men are. And Anas wasn't thinking. He just gave the answer. He'd take his turn with each wife every night. But that wasn't, he didn't explain more. Did you ever see when he came to visit your aunt? Was it relations? Or was it just sitting with her asking about her day? See, Anas didn't give the details. Aisha did. So I think that's the reason why, like the brothers say, because I asked the brothers, why is it that you guys are following me more than women? They say, Layla, a lot of brothers are teaching the dawah, but they're not going in detail like you. They said they don't base it on Quran and Sunnah. They said a lot of the brothers are talking about what the four imams said or what Ibn Taymiyyah said. They said, you come and you tell us what Allah said, what the Prophet said, what Aisha said, what Ibn Abbas said. They said, we like those details. So that could be one of the reasons why I have more male followers that's English speaking than I do women. And the women are too busy tripping off of jealousy and hasad. It's a twisted world we live in, sisters. We have to work on it as women. That jealousy that we have, it's bad because you're cheating yourself. You're depriving yourself. Just like those women that didn't want to learn from Aisha, they deprived themselves of Islam and its truthfulness. They should have learned from Aisha instead of Ibn Masud. Then they would know better what their rights are as a woman. Had they learned from Aisha instead of Ibn Masud, they would know that a woman does not break the prayer of a man. If those women would had to put aside their jealousy against Aisha, they would know that even touching a man on your period doesn't break his wudu or his prayer. But women don't change. We're still jealous, just like you guys they were jealous of her. They're jealous of me, So you walk around thinking that you got to cover your face. Had you learned from Layla, you would know you ain't got to cover your face. You walk around thinking that makeup is haram. Had you learned from Layla, you know makeup is not haram. You walk around thinking that you can't wear high heel shoes. Had you learned from Layla, you know that ain't true either. But that's the mistake of women. And that's why, as the prophet said, there'll be more women in hell than men because of women's arrogance, women's jealousy, their hatred and envy of each other. You should have learned from Aisha. They should have learned from her. You, sister, should learn from me. But That's the way of the world. So, alhamdulillah, I was talking to try to wait for people to join. I'm seeing I got the people in here now. It's 7 o'clock. One of the sisters asked me, can I hold for 7? Are you here now? Because she had to work. Okay, hold on for a sec. Let me type this too. Twitch. Okay, there it is. Twitch. And what about Odyssey? What's it called? You know, I can see now on the, oh, there it is. Walaikum salam, brother Adam. Okay, I can see it now. There we go. There's my Rumble. Okay, you're here? You ready? Okay. I got new followers, guys. New followers on Rumble and Twitch. And I don't want my new shahadas to miss out on these classes. So I was sharing that with you guys to wait for her to get home from work. And she's here, mashallah. Yes, no problem, sweetheart. Just do like you did. Just text me. But I can see you guys on Rumble now and Twitch. I always could see Twitch, but I can see you on Rumble. Yeah, they can type. This program changed it, the platform. All right, so let's get started. We've been speaking about implementing el-wala wal-bara. Yes, I will. She asked me if I would make this, don't get it twisted, because she missed some of what I was saying. Yes. By the way, guys, the beginning, the stuff I just talked about Aisha and the women, I'll make that part of a little short just of that. Don't get it twisted, okay? About the marriage, making rounds. Yeah, that hadith that's misinterpreted. Oh, here come the polygamy sisters. Wait a minute. Here we go. One question, and that's all, sisters. I got to do this class. Okay, there's nothing in Islam that says it's haram for a man to do that. So that I'm glad you asked that. There's nothing in Islam that says it's haram for a man to have relations with all his wives in one night. I mean, like I said, Prophet Solomon did that. But like I said, the Prophet Muhammad didn't do that. We claim to follow his sunnah. And like he said, I am the best of you. The best of you are those who are good and fair with your wives. Ain't none of you better than me. Like I told you guys yesterday, just like a man, it's your job as a woman to cook for your family. It's your job as a woman to clean your house. It's your job as a woman to wash the clothes. That's your job. That's not your husband's job. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to help his wives. He didn't have to, but that's just his nature. He was kind and gentle and loving with his wives. Like he said, I'm better than all you men. Umar didn't do that. You wouldn't find Umar cooking dinner for nobody. You wouldn't find Umar washing his own clothes. Even Abu Bakr didn't do that. But like the Prophet said, I'm better than y'all. I'm going to do what y'all would think is beneath you. Okay. So Solomon, alayhi salam, he made rounds with all his wives and had relations with them in one night. That's Solomon. But the Prophet Muhammad never did that. So there's nothing that says it's haram. But like the Prophet told his wives, I am conscientious of each and every one of you. I would never want to hurt any of you. So out of respect for all of you who I care about, I'm not going to have relations with any of you unless it's your night. If it's not your night, I will not have relations with you out of respect for whichever wife's night it is. That's something that he did. Like he said, I'm better than you. But is it haram? No, I can't. I have not read anything. Maybe Dr. Jamali would know. I don't know. Because Dr. Jamali is a scholar of the Quran and Hadith. Okay? So maybe y'all can ask that to Dr. Jamali, but I've never read, I memorized most all the hadiths, and I don't remember any hadith saying it's haram to do that. But I just know that it's something that the prophet promised. That was part of his marriage contract. Every wife he married, that was part of their contract, that he would not do that. And you can put in your contract whatever you want. And that was his contract. Yes, right-hand possessions were different. Maria was not his wife. The prophet was not married to Maria. She was a right-hand possession. Right-hand possessions are different. Okay? He didn't have relations with a wife, but he did have them with his right-hand possession. Y'all know what happened with Hafsa. He had relations with Maria on the night of that was Hafsa's. That was the big fitna that happened, but that Aisha and Hafsa did, where Allah sent down the verses saying that the prophet can divorce all of them if he wanted to. And the prophet was so angry at Hafsa, he did divorce her, but he took her back. So the right-hand possessions, they can have sex with them whenever they want to. But out of respect, the prophet did that, but out of respect for the wives, he didn't touch no wife if it was not her night. Is that clear, polygamy sisters? Did I answer it? Right. Right. If you got a good husband, that's something that you sisters need to think about. That's another thing that you can consider. If you're going to be getting married, you might want to put that in your contracts. Maybe that's something that you sisters might want to put in your contracts when you get married. Put in your contracts, should you take on another wife, you agree that you will never have relations with her if it ain't her night. That's something y'all can consider, because you can't stop a man from marrying another wife. That's his right. But y'all can make some conditions. Like one of the sisters here say she think all the other wives would agree to that too. Yeah, well, if y'all can get y'all husband to do that, yeah. If you and your co-wives decide that this is something that y'all want to try to get him to agree to, then sit down with him and talk about it. He might be game. But that's personal. Okay. May Allah bless you too. They say, Sister Layla, we learn so much from you every time. Alhamdulillah. That's why it's good to have a female daya. A female can tell you things that the brothers ain't gonna tell you. Y'all think the brothers gonna tell y'all that the prophet had that agreement, even if they know? See, that's why it's good to have a woman. All right, so let's get to the class. We off the topic. All right, so what's our topic? Okay, our topic, we've been discussing how we have to implement allegiance, wala wal bara, loyalty and disassociation in all aspects of our lives as Muslims, and including sports. We've been speaking about sports. The Olympics is ended. And mashallah, we've covered, the legality, whether or not it's lawful for Muslims to watch sports, whether or not it's lawful for Muslims to engage or indulge in sports. We also covered conditions. Are there conditions to this? We even discussed, how to deal with the non-Muslim sports and non-Muslim athletes. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to end this chapter. And I did post up the pages. We'll be covering pages. I forgot what pages. But anyway, let me put the PowerPoint up because I got the pages written down there. Yes, and I did fix our problem from yesterday, so we shouldn't have any problem. Let me share it. You guys will be able to see, inshallah. Bang, there it is. Yeah, we're covering pages 511 through 514. So we're going to end this chapter. The next chapter deals with movies. Like I said, I love this series of Kareem Abu Zaid. Kareem Abu Zaid has taken us on a great journey of how to implement that shahada every day in our lives. The second part of the shahada that Muslims are not thinking of, which is el wala wal bara, in all aspects of life: marriage, divorce, relationships with each other, sports, movies, all of that. So today what I'm going to do is cover pages 511 through 514, which speaks about how to promote inclusivity when it comes to sports and how to create mutual respect in regards to sports. And there's going to be a quiz. I'm going to give you guys a final exam after this too. So pay attention. There will be a final exam at the end of this lecture. Oh yeah. So let's talk about it. Okay, after establishing the significance of Muslims' role models in sports, because that's what we talked about. We talked about yesterday the conditions that we need to consider when it comes to looking for role models in sports or supporting athletes. We can support non-Muslim athletes as long as their lifestyle is not in contradiction to Islam. If there's a non-Muslim athlete who's known for just generosity to children and to the poor, and he's a good role model and all that, we can support him. We can support those sporting teams that are the same too. And I want you guys to ponder this verse of the Quran. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, "O mankind, we created you from a male and a female, and we made you into different nations and tribes so you can get to know one another. And the most honorable of you is the one who has consciousness and fear of Allah." Okay, so, if we're going to support an athlete or support a sports team, we want to make sure that it's a team or an athlete whose lifestyle doesn't contradict ours. And that's what I gave you examples yesterday. I don't know why the brothers in Europe are in love with this Andrew Tate guy. This Andrew Tate, he was a bad person before Islam, and he's become even worse after. I've seen nothing good from him, nothing of benefit. He's on charges right now, of rape and human trafficking of women. And you look at the videos he's posting up. He's sitting up on the internet naked, showing his body parts, smoking cigarettes. What kind of Muslim is that? And he know what he's doing. You can't say that because he's a new shahada. Who said that? Did Allah say because you a new shahada, you're excused from walking around naked? You're excused from smoking cigarettes? You're excused from disobeying him? There's no excuse. Okay, so, but that's an example. Why would you take somebody like that as a role model? Why would you become a fan of someone like that? So this verse here is a cornerstone for us Muslims as fans engaging with sports. It's our responsibility to be selective in who we choose to support. And also we should be role models to the rest of the world. We should show that our Islamic principles are the best, and that the sporting world should be a world based on respect as well. Okay? Again, as a Muslim, you and I, we are ambassadors of Islamic values. Listen to what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He said, the most beloved of the people to Allah are those who are more helpful to the people. And the most loved deed to Allah is to make another Muslim happy, or to remove a hardship from another Muslim, or to forgive his debt, or to feed his hunger. He also said that I walk with a man regarding a need is more beloved to me than that I separate myself and stay in the mosque for a month. Whoever controls his anger, Allah will conceal his faults. Whoever suppresses his anger, even though he could fulfill it if he wished, Allah will secure that person's heart on the day of judgment. Whoever walks with his brother regarding a need until he secures that need for him, then Allah will make his footing firm across the Sirat bridge on the day of judgment. Subhanallah, this is how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be ambassadors of Islamic values in all facets of life, including sports. I'm not going to sit there like these brothers in Europe are doing. They're sitting up on YouTube, Twitter, where they talking about this Andrew Tate dude. That you even got men who call themselves scholars issuing fatwas in favor of Andrew Tate. What a waste of time. All the problems that the Muslims are faced with on this earth, we don't even get to hear from the true scholars that often. But you got the nerve to take time and issue a fatwa regarding Andrew Tate. He's nobody. Okay? Boy, have we deviated away from the traditional Islam. So as Muslims, we're supposed to take proactive steps to build an inclusive environment that includes people of all facets and all walks of life. But we support those people who are good in their values, good in their character, good in their behavior. Does everybody understand that? Why waste your time with a person that's a denizen, a loser? When there are so many problems that this ummah is faced with, so many Muslims who are sincere and striving to make it to Jannah who need help from the scholars. They don't hear from you, but you're going to issue a fatwa in favor and support of the behavior of some famous multi-millionaire personality who claims to be a Muslim, but is showing us every day that he's everything but that. Lord, we are twisted. And also, we're supposed to not only be ambassadors of Islamic values, but we're also supposed to be people who break down stereotypes. In other words, we don't fall for stereotypes. Remember, Allah says in the interpretation of meaning, "O you who believe, do not let a group make fun of another group, because it may be that the latter is better than the former. And nor let some women make fun of other women. It may be that the ones you make fun of are better than you. Nor defame each other, nor insult one another by offensive nicknames." How bad is that? To insult your brother after he has converted to Islam by calling him a sinner or wicked, or even like they do today, guys, a kafir. Allah says whoever does not repent, then they will indeed be one of the wrongdoers. So again, we don't fall into stereotypes. But unfortunately, that's what we're doing today. We're stereotyping each other. We're quick to call another Muslim a kafir. We're quick to call another Muslim a sinner. We're quick to see the evil in another instead of looking at the good things that they've done. And we should never make fun of other people. It shouldn't be whereas you go to the mosque and you ask for assistance because you need help paying your rent, and they turn you down because of the color of your skin. This is a problem we have in America. African Americans will go to the mosque and ask for help, they get turned down by many of these communities because they're Black. But let that Pakistani person come and ask. Let that Arabic person come and ask. Let that Bosnian person come and ask, and you give them money. Let that Christian minister come and ask for your support, and you're giving him money too. But the African Americans in your community, you're not giving them anything. What kind of crap is that? Okay? And the same thing applies in sports. Don't sit around making fun of people because he couldn't dribble the ball right, because that person is running track and he doesn't have legs. You know, so we don't sit there. If you're going to indulge in sports, you have to keep that honor, maintain that Islamic identity. Don't sit there and make fun of that person there, even if he's not a Muslim, because he can't throw a ball, because he can't run a track. So don't fall into that category if you're going to be dealing in sports. And again, we have to uphold fair play. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the strongest amongst you is not the one that can throw another person down to the ground. He said, the strongest amongst you is the one who can control himself when he's angry. If you're watching a football game, you're watching a basketball game, you have to watch your anger. Your team is losing. Your athlete that you are a fan of is losing. You got to control your temper. Even in something like playing cards. I love to play bid whisk. I love to play spades. Since I don't have anybody in real life to play with, I play bid whisk and I play spades online. And I have partners. And most time my partners are not Muslim. I have to control my anger. When I have a partner that doesn't know what she's doing, she runs a Boston and didn't have the cards in her hand to take nobody to Beantown, I got to be careful to not curse and get angry at her. Okay? If I'm playing spades and I lead with a certain suit and my partner comes back with the wrong card, you know, I got to be careful to not get angry. So that's a problem with sports. A lot of times we can't control our emotions. If we're going to actively promote, engage in sports, we have to promote integrity as well. We have to stay away from profanity and putting people down and all of that crap. And again, diversity. Allah hates tribalism. Allah hates racism. Allah hates discrimination. Allah hates that stuff. Listen to what he says in the interpretation, the meaning, and of his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth and the diversity of your languages and the diversity of your colors. These are signs for those who have knowledge. Some people can't walk. Some people can't run, but they have Olympics too. Don't sit there making fun of the disability Olympics because these two men here are competing on bikes. You know, Islam is all about diversity. Allah is telling us in this verse that he is diverse in his creation. Lower your wing. Don't sit there and make fun of people. Don't just support the people that are the best of the best. Support people from all walks of life. What's wrong with the disabled Olympics? When before I retired from work, my clients used to participate in the Olympics for the mentally, developmentally challenged. I took a lot of time working with my clients, helping them perfect their basketball skills. Oh yeah, I was on the court. I was on the court with my developmentally disabled clients. You know, I had to stand there with them and show them how to put their hand the right way to toss that ball. And when my clients went to the Columbus to participate every year for the Olympics, This woman in hijab and jilbab was right there rooting for him. Go, 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 go. Keep them jinns in check. Oh, I used to tell them, I'd sit there and recite the Quran so they wouldn't get, my clients, some of them were possessed. Their jinn would like to come out. Some of them would like to fall on the ground, and the women, and throw their legs up and act like, So I would sit there and read the Quran to them. Allahu Akbar, run that field. I'd recite the Falak, keep them focused, and my clients always came home with trophies. Hello. Oh, yeah. So support, be diverse in your support. Okay? Be diverse. Muslim fans, particularly those already invested in celebrating athletes from Islamic backgrounds, you should also extend this admiration to athletes and fans from all other walks of life. I'm a fan of the Olympics for the disabled. I still watch that, even though I just retired 2 years ago. I watched it on TV. My clients didn't participate this year because I ain't there to train them, and that's sad. Sad. All right, so now what I'm going to do is give you guys a quiz. This is our final exam to cover this chapter on sports. Implementing wala bara in regards to sports. And all three of my questions are questions of fiqh. They're questions which you're going to have to show that you understand the answers by explaining it. First question. How would you respond to the Muslims that say watching sports is haram and a waste of time? Now, as you guys know, there's a lot of Muslims out there, who will tell you that it's haram to watch sports, and it's haram to even participate. Based on what we've learned, what we've covered over this series, how would you respond to that? Let's see how long we got to wait today. Dr. Jamali said that the reason why the people in my Zoom room doesn't answer my questions is because I'm mean and evil and rough and angry, and they scared of me. They're urinating on themselves, defecating on themselves out of fear because I'm just a demon. Jamali, you think I'm being a demon to them now? Why ain't they responding? I told you why they ain't responding, because they ain't paying attention. They cooking dinner, dealing with the children, watching TV, outside in the swimming pool, everything but paying attention. Anybody else on YouTube? How would you respond to the Muslims that say watching sports is haram? Is it haram? They say watching sports is a waste of time. Is it? Come on, Margaret. This is your final exam. Let's see what you got to say. And just so y'all can see, I got a room full of people. Look how many people in my Zoom room. I had to ban some woman from my group. She thought that nobody listens to me. Oh, I got a lot of people listening to me, sweetheart. It's just that jealous women like you don't. But look at my room filled with people, and ain't none of them got an answer. I got some men in there too. Look at all them names. They ain't got nothing to say. All right, let's see. So how would you respond to the Muslim that says watching sports is haram and a waste of time? Sakina says she would tell them sports is not haram as long as they don't take you away from your Islamic obligation or go against the principles of Islam. Mashallah, that's one good answer. Mashallah, from Sister Sakina. If we're going to say that something is haram, where's the evidence? Okay? It's not haram as long as you can get up and fulfill your obligations. Okay? Brother Adam said it's not haram because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to watch camels run. He used to watch the companions participate in sports, which is true. There's many hadiths of that. Good job, Brother Adam. Okay, Sister Pamela said she would say watching sports is not haram as long as you don't stay in that situation and forget your obligations. What about the part about it being a waste of time? How would y'all respond to that? Is watching sports a waste of time? What do y'all think?
No, it's not, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that there's a time for this and there's a time for that, meaning that there's a time to worship Allah and there's a time to just, engage in trivial things and take your mind off of, doing something else.
MashaAllah, and thank you, Sister Fame. That's one of my students that grew up here. She's been coming to my classes since she was 12 years old. She's 26 now and she got 2 babies and she's married. Thank you. And like she said, if a person tells you it's a waste of time, who said that? The Prophet Muhammad said there's a time for this. There's a time for that. There's a time to pray, a time to reflect, a time to laugh, a time to cry. As Sister Sakina said, it's about balance. Good job. It's not haram. It's not a waste of time. It's just balancing your time. Good job. And Sister Jamila said it's not haram to participate in sports as long as the person is dressed properly. Okay? So good job. Good answers. May Allah bless all of you. Good job. Let's look at the next question. What about this? Most Muslims, and this is the truth, guys, most Muslims today believe that it is okay for women to participate in sports, such as racing and fencing, as long as they have on hijab. How do you respond to this, guys? If you were to ask the average Muslim in America, is it okay for women to participate in sports as long as they have on the correct hijab? Most of them will say, yes, it's okay. What do you think about that? Is that true or not? What do you think about that?
I'll say yes, it's okay for them to participate in sports as long as they fully covered and dressed the way they're supposed to be dressed. But at the same time, they can participate in the sports, but they can't have a competition when they out in the public where everyone can see them at. So it's not.
So you're giving a yes. You're giving 2 answers. I don't know if you're saying yes, they can or can't. Oh. Anybody else want to answer too?
No, I say yeah, you can. They can play sports.
Okay, she says yes, a woman can play. What do y'all think?
I say no, because we are not supposed to make a public spectacle, I think that's how we say it, a public spectacle of ourselves, doing things to cause attention. Also, there's no need for us to play sports. It's not benefiting others. And that's about it.
That's the correct answer.
Okay.
Believe it or not, guys, most Muslims here in America, and I'm saying America because America got it twisted because of those brothers. We have the progressive Muslim feminist brothers of compassion from Texas who got y'all really messed up. No! Muslim women cannot participate in sports like that. Why not? As she said, Allah is clear in the Quran. Good job, Precious. A woman cannot make a public spectacle of herself. Just like I can't be a ballet dancer. Just like I can't be a dancer. I can't be a professional singer. I can't do it. I'll be a model. I cannot do anything that's going to make me a spectacle, a public spectacle. Just like I can't go to a conference and stand up in the front of a bunch of men and women and give lectures. That's a public spectacle. Good job, Precious. Most Muslims in America.
That's not playing sports though. Now you can play the sport. You just
I didn't ask, can you play sports? Y'all got to listen to the words. Most Muslims believe it's okay for women to participate in sports such as racing and fencing, as long as they have on the hijab. That's the question. I didn't ask if you can exercise at home or nothing. That's what I'm saying. You Muslims got to pay attention. Good. And I even put a picture up here to help y'all get it right. Can I go out the house and do what she's doing in this picture? Can I do this?
No, not even dressed that way.
No, this woman ain't even dressed right. I didn't ask, can I do sports? I asked, can I participate? The word participate is different. That means making myself public. Participate. Making yourself public like this woman is doing here. No, I don't care what nobody tell you. No, Allah is clear. We cannot make a public spectacle of ourselves as we did before Islam. Before Islam, women had to be public. You had to make yourself seen. If you didn't make yourself seen and heard, you would be ignored. You wouldn't be acknowledged. But Islam gave women rights they never had before. So Allah is clear in the Quran, do not go out of that house and make yourself a public spectacle like you had to do and like you used to do before Islam. Have some taqwa, some haya. There's no need for that. Everybody understand that? I didn't ask, can I jog at home? I didn't ask, can I go and work out like I do here with my weights and stuff? I didn't ask that. I didn't ask, can me and Latifah get together? Can me and Latifah go to the clubhouse together and me and her work out and spar together? That ain't my question. My question is participating in sports. Everybody got it?
Sister Layla, can I add something also? When we would compete as girls in basketball, we would have a gym that was closed off. It was all women. The referee was women. No fathers or no brothers or any males were allowed to see the girls run up, and we still wore full hijab and long sleeve. So being out in the public where every eye can see you, that's a big no-no.
Exactly. And that's not the Olympics. The Olympics is public. That ain't the same as being at home or at your mosque, just all the girls swimming together. If I wanted to rent the swimming pool here where I live at and say, we're going to have a sisters night, all y'all come and go swimming. Yeah, but you still got to cover yourself up. And we can just swim, but that's in private. That's not a public spectacle. That's private. Y'all understand? And this is where we got it twisted in America because of those compassionate, progressive imams who have sold their souls to the Democratic Party of Obama and Biden and who are on the task force, the president's task force for equal rights. You know, they telling you that women can be seen, women can pray with the men in the same room with the men, next to the men, which is a lie. That the women can sit there and talk to the men, laugh with the men, shake hands in certain circumstances. That's a lie. We don't compromise our Islamic beliefs for no one or nothing. Don't get it twisted. All right. Good job, Precious. Very proud of you. Good job, Layla. Proud of you. Mina, get it together. All right. Last question. Oh, yeah. I forgot what this question is. Many Muslims, oh, this is true. Many Muslims all over the world, if you were to travel the world, you would find many Muslims who will say that we cannot support non-Muslim sport teams because of wala wal bara. What do you think, guys? How would y'all respond to that one? They'll say it's haram to support the Lakers or to support these Kafir teams because Allah says in the Quran they'll never like us. So we have to distance ourselves from them. We can't get intimate with them. They take the words of the Quran and use them that way. What would you say to that? Based on what we've discussed here in these classes.
We can support the teams. There's no problem with that. As long as we don't get involved in the competition, the foul language, all the bad etiquette and bad manners that come with that type of support. We're just supporting it as like entertainment because that's basically what it is. There's no problem with that. There's nothing in the Quran and the Sunnah that says that we can't do that. We're not becoming allies with them. We're not accepting their behavior. We're just supporting a team that we like. So if we keep it on that level and make sure our adab, our manners, our akhlaq and tadib, our good manners, moral Islamic values are in place, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Great answer, except he left one point out. What makes us choose the team? What do we use to choose the team to support? That's one thing he left out. One thing you left out too, brother. His answer is the same as Brother Abdullah's, mashallah, except y'all left out one thing. What do
they have to be good people?
Good. Go ahead. The next person, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think they left out as long as they're not engaging in haram things publicly.
Yes, and their morals don't contradict us. Like, for example, am I gonna be supporting some Andrew Tate? Are you crazy? What type of... There's a basketball player that's on charges for rape. I'm sorry. I ain't got time for you, bro. You better go home somewhere when you get your case resolved. I'll do the Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z told P. Diddy. Take care of your business. After your business is taken care of and you've been proven innocent, then give me a call. But right now, while El Barra, I'm distancing myself from you. I'm taking all my support away from you, P. Diddy. With that agreement we had that we was going to tour together, look, he tore the contract up. Null and void. So again, the team that we support, it has to be a team that has good ethics. It's a team that has good morality. This team, the Lakers, like for example, guys, the Lakers are known for doing good to the communities. Y'all know that. Why is it that the Lakers is one of the most favorite teams in the world? Those men are known for doing good things for charity. A lot of Muslims on that team too, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the other Muslims. A lot of Muslims on that team too. That That team is known for doing a lot of good things for the community. That team is known for doing a lot of good things for society. And that team don't play. If you a Laker, you can't do drugs. If you a Laker, it ain't about no rape. If you a Laker and you up on charges of rape, they get you off the team. They kick you out. The Lakers are very strict in who they allow to play for them. You can't come in here with no bag like Jay-Z told P. Diddy. You can't come in here with no baggage. We ain't got time for that. So you want to make sure, too, that the team that you're supporting is a team that does good to the community, a team that's known as being admired for good things, not bad things. Everybody understand that? Exactly. Good job. So, mashallah, this completes the chapter. And I really love how Sheikh Kareem Abuzaid put this together, this chapter on sports. So there shouldn't be any questions. It's not haram to watch sports as long as you follow the guidelines of Islam. You brothers should not be watching the women run down the field naked, like I've seen on Twitter. A lot of these Muslim men posting up pictures of the Norwegian team and that black girl here in America. Look at her legs and all that stuff. What are you doing watching that?